By the way, speaking of Doctor Doom, did you see? I did not know this until recently. Apparently, the new Marvel whatever movie, the Secret Wars,
Doomsday.
is it the new one?
Yeah,
The
Doomsday.
budget has hit $1 billion
Already?
Easily.
$1 billion without marketing it.
Well, that means he's got at least $2 billion.
Hey, welcome everyone. This is your friendly neighborhood host, Gonzalo Herrera with Rise 41 Podcast and Geeked and Jacked, joined by my two awesome compatriots here, Josh, the Uber Troll Master of all things WH 40K, amongst many other talents. Josh, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. How's it going?
And of course, the often imitated, never duplicated, impossible to follow up with, the Reverend, the man himself, Dr. Todd Lee. How are you doing, Todd?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm getting good at these intros, man. Anyway, so
You're
before we get started on
the Reverend part.
well, yeah, are you actually? You might be, right?
It's actually Reverend Dr. Chadley, but I don't
that's
go by that because I just did it because I was like, what would be the most offensive thing I could do? I was like, let's King's Thunder. So I have got Reverend thing, so I could be the Reverend Dr. Chadley. And it's just rude for being rude's sake. So I don't use it.
Oh, but that's hilarious. So that worked. Okay, so the Reverend is accurate then. I'm not even exaggerating. All right, so
with the Slayer hat on.
Yeah. And the aesthetics. I like it. Oh, by the way, I have to ask you at some point, let me know where I can buy that God Masteron shirt. I need to get one of
those. It should have been on the site last month. I'll talk to the marketing people about where that development phase is.
Nice.
It had something to do with finding the right print to go on the specific type of fabric I like. Mm-hmm. Because the ones that were giveaways were on Gillidan, and that's like too rough. I want something softer. And then we're not going to have a QRC code on something someone pays for to advertise for me. That's douchey. So I have to do the logo on the back different too.
Gotcha. Well, let me know when they're ready because I'll be buying a couple for sure.
Everything else, it's going to be like higher end shit, like how Hostiles clothes are higher end clothes.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice clothes
I like
you would want to wear.
Yeah, that you're comfortable wearing. That's the other thing.
That you can wear them to the gym because they're durable enough, but they're comfortable enough that they feel right. And they're built for the physiques of someone who lifts. That is of all levels, but it's not normal American cuts, which are not made for archive.
Yeah, they're not.
What fabric types do you see quality?
I like, so Bella canvas. There used to be Gillidan was like the shit, and then Bella was the soft stuff. But then men wanted to use the Bella, but they don't want it to say Bella because it says beautiful. So they changed the name of Bella to Canvas, and then people didn't realize it was Bella. So now it's called Bella Canvas, and so that's like the core run of the shirts. They're really soft because, like me, I only care about whether the shirt's comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like coarse fabrics. And I guess that I'm not the only person like this, but there are some people that care more about the clothes looking good or being having a brand name or even looking high end or making them look good than they are about it actually feeling good to wear it.
See what I do?
For me, it's being comfortable wearing it. And then also I don't want the cut to make me look like shit. Like as long as I'm concealed, then I'm fine. Like I don't expect clothes to accentuate my physique, but I don't want it to look like my abs are a beer gut either. Right?
Yeah, I mean we work hard for this shit, man.
Yeah. So it's like
I still want that cut where I look like I'm very fat and then I take off my jacket and they're like, oh my God, he's not just fat.
Oh, the ultimate stealth
cover.
I
like to just be stealth because I'm still fat.
Yeah, just wear a hoodie that's a zip up that's too small.
I do.
That will definitely make
it's just too warm for hoodies now. I'm like, oh man.
And then if you've got a tank top under it, you unzip it.
Never a tank top, never ever in my life.
And then it's just
no.
Tank tops are the best. That's my favorite. I just don't like. If it was socially acceptable, I'll run around naked all the time, but it's not. So that's what I tell my wife anyway.
The thing is you have to open that rule to everyone.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not
And
like only people who've gotten this placing and this level of show can walk around it. If
it's a
that was the
Pandora's
case,
box once you
I'd be
open this.
cool with it. It's like once you're a state
Wait.
champion,
If you could compete in fit model, you can walk around naked.
yeah, and that's the thing though, is you have to have it be equal for both people.
Yeah, for
So
sure, for sure.
the girls
So
just wear their clothes. It's not gonna win. It's just mean naked dudes walking around.
Yeah.
that's true. So
Never
here's
anyone
the
you want to see.
here's the realization I had as I've been diving deep into the lore lately to like understand half of these discussions with you guys, and it is this: the one thing that's unique about Warhammer 40K and the world building they've done is that the game and the world building started to support a game. It's not like other franchises where like there's a story and then that story gets turned into video games and whatever. It's the other way around. So it's clearly been purposely left lots of vague holes in space for people to develop and have stories, and the galaxy's so big and there's so much stuff that you can easily write something that's could be canon, right? But doesn't affect anything else. And that's why they're purposely vague, which of course makes it kind of maddening if you're trying to like I was trying to figure out what is the order I should start reading these novels, and there really isn't an order at all. It's more like what series or topic attracts you, and there's novels about that, and those are where you go.
Right.
So that was my big like like because you can see the elements, you can see the elements in Warhammer. There's strong Dune elements. There's some strong Michael Moorcock elements, some strong H.P. Lovecraft in there. There's even Tolkien with the orcs and elves and all that shit. So, but they've developed this incredible universe now. Yeah. And I'm starting to understand why you guys hate Erebus so much, by the way.
Two things I'll say. Yeah, 40K is a setting, not a story.
Yes.
That's how to think about it. It's a setting. There's just stuff going on in various parts of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the other thing. What was the other thing? Setting on.
Is there another thing?
there was, but I can't remember. What are we talking about? 40K.
So, yeah, we were talking about like what makes this campaign world, game world so different from the other ones, and they've done it successfully for 35 years.
Oh, and if you want to get into 40K, Devastation of Baal is great, but if you prefer like Theological, Throne of Light, and don't read the Dawn of Fire series, it's terrible.
Yeah. And isn't there a series, the one that Cavill wanted to use for the show, Engelhorn or something?
Eisenhorn is also a good one that a lot of people like, but I don't give a crap about the people.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing, like, it's a game that's about armies, so it's already large scale. So telling stories about individuals becomes kind of very possible because there's space for everybody. There's space for everybody within the grander campaign space or story space. So anyway, that was my big thing. Now, let's talk about characters that we like. And Josh, you had somebody you wanted to present to us, I believe, right?
Right. All right, so I chose the first captain. His name is Aenid Till. Aenid Till, like all the first captains, tend to just vanish after the heresy. We don't really know what happened because
he was first captain of what legion?
What legion?
Gilliam's Legion, the Ultramarines.
Okay, so 13th Legion.
Okay, so
so he was the first captain. Captain of the first company, in other words.
Yeah, eventually he became the leader of
Okay, so the captain of the first company of the Ultramarines Legion, because it was before they were chapters at the Horus Heresy.
Right. When Fulgrim kills Gilliman for about 10,000 years is the last time you know about Aenid Till, basically trying to get Gilliman's corpse out of the whatever snake pit they were in.
Tell me more about this guy.
All right, so Aenid Till, the first time you hear about this guy in around 30K, he's starting to do war games between two Space Marine units, which is, heretical. No one would ever do that. This is in the book No Fear. Definitely recommend reading that book, even just out of order. Just read it now. It's great. So this No Fear is the story where Guilliman is kicking Space Marines in half in space because his captain ship is blown up via the traitor Lorgar. So anyway, back to Aenid Till. He's in trouble. He gets a red helmet of shame, so he's going to get censored. He thinks he's going to his boss's office. He's actually going to his father's office, Guilliman. So he thinks he's going to get killed. So he has all these great internal thoughts that you can read in the book, and it'll be things like, well, since I'm in his office, I'm probably going to get killed. Let me go and play with his guns and shit. So he gets out all of the Gilliman's different guns, starts like firing him random shit. And then the demons all spawn into the fucking room, and he just goes ape shit with all of Gilliman's weapons. Starts basically the practical, movements that all the Space Marines or not Space Marines, the Ultramarines are famous for.
Yeah.
And just basically restarts the unit, and then his captain finds him, and he sees him. He's like, those guns look really good. Those look like guns that Guilliman would have. Oh, those are guns that Guilliman would have. So eventually they, just get back together and bound everybody up. And he shows up, and he basically goes down to Calth and tries to clear up the Marines. Guilliman meets him again with about 50 random Space Marines that he found, and he says to Guilliman, after all 50 are in the room, I am Alfarius, and they all start opening fire. So he doesn't meet Aenid until again there. He meets him later.
Hey, hold on. Can I back you up?
Yeah.
As a joke, he said, I am Alfarius.
No, and Alfarius and like 50 Alpha Legionnaires tried to jump a Primarch and almost killed Guilliman, but he ended up killing all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am Alfarius was the attack code. Obviously.
This is the book where that fight happens. This is the book where the fight with Fulgrim and Guilliman happens.
No. I don't know if Lorgar gets to fight Guilliman there. I don't remember if they fight there or not. But no fear is where Guilliman and the
this is that classic fight picture.
Yeah, they should be one.
The Alpha Marines fighting him, and he's got his flaming sword.
Ultra. Well, no, he won't have the flaming sword because that's the Emperor's sword. He has that in 40K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. He should have just a regular sword, I guess.
I thought you said he was sleeping for 10,000 years when that
after
put him
this. I started at the end just to let you know there's no ending because guys like Sevatar and Raldoran, all these great characters have no ending, just kind of like their Primarchs didn't really have endings. They just kind of farted away.
That's one of the smart things about the rules they set up for their world. That you can have these time hops, and by not being super precise with the timeline, they avoid the whole Star Trek, Star Wars retcon bullshit. Like they can change it at a moment's notice, which is great. Which is fucking great.
Arbiter Ian put together their timeline for them because they did do timelines for a long time, and they just recently have stopped doing it because it makes it too hard.
Well, and even when they did timelines, it was like wide open spaces. You know what I mean? Yeah. Again, to make sure that you can move things around if you have to. If you have to tell a better story.
Attention to the chaos. I just think they're just purely disorganized.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's grown organically.
You also have to remember, it isn't the same people working at the building for 35 years.
Right.
People come and go. That nobody gives a fuck as much as the fans.
Yep.
That's why it's the fans who write the book should be the ones who decide the plot, not just some random employee. Like, for example, I've said this before, the girl that wrote Salubri for 5th edition was their marketing girl. Yeah. She's 20 years old. She's never played the game. Why the fuck are you giving her one of the 13 ancient clans to write? And she's never played the fucking game. It's one of the most confusing clans, and you got all the disciplines wrong.
Yep.
Like,
that's it.
I'm sorry.
You're dead on. You're dead on. Like, you have to. This is one of those things about, and Hollywood makes this mistake too with movies all the time, or series, which is put them in the hands of people that don't care.
Right.
And you have to care. To do quality, you have to care. You have to be, because there's that. I'm going to use the French, the je ne sais quoi. I don't know, but I'm a fan and I can feel it. That you can bring as a fan, as a writer, as a creator, that a non-fan cannot bring because they just don't know. They don't understand the vibe, the atmosphere, the colors, the things that make a thing a thing.
La passion.
Yeah. You gotta do that. So yeah, man. That's valid point. 100%.
What's funny is I'm rereading the clan novels. Like, I got so sick of that 6th Warhammer book that they had finished all the clan novels for Vampire from 1997, 1998. And so I'm reading through book 3 because I'd already run it 1, 2. And it's like, they have this really graphic rape scene in this novel And I was like, this would never make it to print these days.
No editor would allow that.
Nobody got into the girl's pants or nothing, but it was like a 15-year-old getting mugged by these two guys, and they're talking about what they're going to do to her. Then, of course, she gets rescued by the vampire.
Yeah, but still.
But the point is that shit would never make it into anything modern. And so it's like going back and rereading third edition vampire novels from 30 years ago versus the shit show they turn it in now. It's so wild that I have all this material from 30 years ago to still go through.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with any of their new shit. And it's like with the Warhammer thing, I just think it's less organized, and that's almost a good thing.
Yeah.
They didn't just bring in Kathleen Kennedy from Dungeons and Dragons
to run Warhammer,
to ruin this now because she ruined D&D. No, like the Warhammer didn't go out of its way to ruin itself. It actually, people were so pissed about the female custodians that they just didn't ship them to people.
Yeah.
They
so
didn't
by the way, I
anybody.
found out
they
about
just
that
didn't
this
ship
week.
them to people. So they completely did an about face. So I'm hoping this 11th edition is not woke, and they didn't do what Vampire 5th edition did and go woke as fuck.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, it
I'm sure
shouldn't
it's
be.
Terrible.
No,
really?
What, the 11th edition?
Absolutely, it's going to be terrible.
Why would you think it's terrible? Like, I think
Just
right
wait till
now,
you read it, I'm sure it'll be terrible.
I was gonna say it's the best time. I feel like for creators now that we're past that initial backlash.
It better be great art, because that's always what they always do. But the writing's usually shite. Like they just announced whatever the what's it called? The Terminus Decree is basically the Grey Knights are supposed to kill the Emperor.
Wait, what?
Tries to get off the Golden Throne.
Okay.
How the fuck are the Grey Knights going to kill the Emperor who got off the Golden Throne, let alone kill the fucking Custodies? Like 3 Custodies were tearing through 1,000 Space Marines, like no fucking like hot knife right through butters.
We know
done.
It's
done.
setting up these.
So they're going to be 10,000 Custodies and the fucking Emperor.
What the Perturabo plot line? I hear about that they're going to redo. You keep telling us they're going to redo Armageddon, and then like
no, it's the next war.
But they've already had that war.
Is Armageddon where we tore the galaxy in the 2 halves?
No. That's the Great Rift. That became the
Great Rift, right?
Yeah.
Which was a way of bringing all those.
The Eye of Terror became like
basically
a Great Rift across the galaxy. I can't remember I call it the Gork's Grin because that's funnier to me.
The what?
Gork's
But
Grin.
when we're talking about Armageddon, we're talking about the movie.
Armageddon is
Hell's Reach, right?
Yeah, Hell's Reach, the story. Yeah. Armageddon has been a war planet forever. It was 30K. Anyone remember Ulanor? Okay, Ulanor was the end of the Great Crusade. The Emperor basically retired to Terra, said, "Hey guys, I gotta go do some things on Terra. Y'all, good luck, Horus. You're the new War Master. Ulanor win, yay!" So Ulanor was the home planet of the orcs.
Oh,
and then the Imperium stole it, built a bunch of great shit on it, and then have been fighting for it ever since. And since the orcs want to come there and fight, fuck it, we ball, because that's what you do when you're the Imperium. Especially when you got Yarick, who speaks fucking orc and skull fucks orcs to death.
That's shit. Okay.
So the point is this a 4th Armageddon War, or they're just retelling the 3rd Armageddon War?
I think this is okay. So there was a first Armageddon War that is never talked about because it was chaos related, and then the second and third Armageddon Wars for Armageddon were actually, I think, the same war. They just had different names, second and third.
Okay.
So this is technically just the 3rd, but I think they're going to call it the 4th War for Armageddon.
Okay. But it is a new war on Armageddon.
Yeah,
it's not.
It should be, I mean, yeah, right. But it's going to be the same characters. Gazgul versus Yarick. You know.
Yep.
And it's going to be fucking awesome.
Gotcha. So I finished reading the what is it? The Storm of Silence novel, which is the story of Jen Zar, who's the founder of the Howling Banshees. Is it for the Elder, who are like the?
I don't know the Elder at all. No.
So it was really good though, because it explains a lot of how they do the whole warp, seeing the future, and how that works in that universe. If you're interested, you might want to pick it up. And it's cartoonishly violent too. They invade like some orc planet at some point, and it just gets wild and out of control. And that Jane Zar, apparently, stats wise in the game, she must be a freaking monster, because she's like tearing through like entire squads by herself, like in 2 seconds. So anyway, but it was a really interesting premise, which, by the way, let me show you guys something. Let's see if I can show you what I've been up to with the miniatures, guys. Let's see. Here it is. All right, check this out. Finally got ourselves some Harlequins, right?
You painted all that already?
Some of them, yeah, not all of them.
Oh,
And
wow, you
the
paint fast.
and the Incarn over here, which I just finished touching up today. Let me see if I can move her up. I have that's the Incarn.
Wow.
Yeah, she came
You
out
painted
sweet.
it? That looks
She came out
incredible.
sweet. It's a great model. Yeah, it was a great model.
Wow. That
Yeah.
looks incredible.
And this is what's next. I have a regular Marine here for comparison, and this is Master Lazarus. This is gonna be my next painting job right
What
here.
chapter is Lazarus from again?
Dark Angels.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's
you're
gonna
going the Lion
be
Squad.
greenish, I guess is their
Yeah.
color, right? I think it's their. I'll have to research what the color
You'll have to
palette
check
is.
because they may have changed back to green.
Yeah.
Because they were
Yeah.
black for a while whenever,
Well, the first company's black, right?
Yeah.
The first company's black. The rest of them are the second company on, I think, are green.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's been a super relaxing hobby as I'm like in between interviewing and all that with all the things that are happening that are good. So it's been fun. It's been fun. What about you, Todd? What are you up to? I know you impulse bought some figures, you told me.
So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I went into the store just to look at what I was gonna go and try to buy painted, and somehow the dude, I don't know how, he just talked me into it, and I
Yeah.
bought a Night Lords box and a
Nice.
Black Legion box and an Abaddon, and
Oh,
then it's
wow.
like, he said he'd teach me how to paint at the store, but that was a month ago. I haven't been back yet, so I was like, damn it, I knew this was going to happen. So from now on, I'm just going to buy pre-painted miniatures, starting
Gotcha.
with the Chaos Legions. I mean, I really want Night Lords and Black Legion. I like the World Eaters. I like the lore, whatever the lore keepers.
Word bearers?
But huh?
The word
Word
bearers?
bearers. Yeah, word bearers. It's like, though they look cool as fuck too. Just but like, I don't like the purple or pink that the Emperor's children, Fulgrim, the Emperor's children. I don't like the teal of the Thousand Suns. Like, I like the concept of the army, and I like the Egyptian thing. I just don't like the colors.
living metal.
Yeah. That's one thing about the Dark Angels. I don't like the color green, but I like the Raven Guard. It's like if the Dark Angels were black, then I would totally do a first company of Dark Angels. Because you could have first company Dark Angels and then have Deathwing and then have like Blood Angels and then Flesh Terrors and then just have them as a unit that are just loyalists.
Yeah.
And you could have some Night Lords that are doing their fear powers, and you could have some Death Guard infecting everyone, and you could mix and match. You don't have to have just one straight army, except for the loyalists have a reason to cooperate. There isn't necessarily a reason why the Chaos would cooperate, except for Black.
Generally against each other at various times.
Yeah, or in competition. Yeah.
But as far as book report goes, like, I didn't really prepare a character to go over. So I guess I'm going to go with who I know the best.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Ironic as it is, it's going to be Fulgrim.
All right, let's
because
go.
Fulgrim's such an easy transition from Vampire the Masquerade because it's basically Toreador concept. It's just a masculine approach to the Toreador.
Okay.
It's like, Fulgrim is a perfectionist. He is basically good at everything from tactician to blacksmithing. Like, he's as good at blacksmithing as Ferrus Manus. He's as good at tactics as maybe Rogel Dorn is. He's as good at organization and leadership as fucking Rabuto Gilliman. But he's just not that hardcore in a fight.
Gotcha.
But he was the fastest. He's like celerity and presence to the hilt, no potence nor fortitude.
Right.
Then when he gets possessed and starts getting demon powers and shit, now it's a whole nother fucking animal. And then when he starts to go ascending to a demon form, like a Yuan-Ti, which is basically like
this is the snake man, right?
Yeah, a Yuan-Ti is like the D&D term for like a were-snake. Naga would be the Vampire the Masquerade, or the World of Darkness term for a were-snake. It's like you got 4 arms and a body. You're a demon prince on top of being a fucking Primarch. So him and Angron are probably like the 2 most powerful of all the Primarchs at that point, because they're demon princes and Primarchs.
Right. Right. They have all the
Abaddon, I guess,
goodies.
would be really powerful.
Well, Horus
He's
is
created
the most powerful at this point.
the infernal taint of 4 gods. But for the most part, like those 3 are your most powerful antagonists. And so like Fulgrim he's got 4 phases. He has like a philosophical code you can't argue with, but through perfection, the intrinsic flaw of arrogance occurs. Because the better you are, you eventually get bored of yourself, and then everyone else is just inferior to you. So then you come across as condescending. So there's another paradox there where he's super attractive, but he's got a shit personality.
Right.
Just like really good looking people will be.
Yeah.
You know, so I just love how Fulgrim's just such a full character. It's almost like a young Jaime Lannister, only instead of being humbled and going through a hero's arc,
Right.
and going from being a villain to an anti-hero to being a hero in the end,
Mm-hmm.
Fulgrim just doubles down like Whitmer.
Like he never learns, right?
The
He never
most
learns.
extreme fucking monster. And it was so funny because even though he's so perfect,
Was he Joffrey?
he's stoic. So a demon that kissed his ass was able to slither in his ear and control his will so easily.
Yeah.
And in the end, as soon as the going gets rough, he just surrenders and lets something control him because he's just a follower bitch. So like now that he doesn't have an emperor as his master, he's letting the sword control him. And it's so funny that you're like a glass cannon. You're perfect on the outside, but you never worked on your insides. So everyone sees you for his ugly. And just to prove the point, like the portrait of Dorian Gray, they put his soul in a painting.
Oh,
Just like the portrait of Dorian Gray.
yeah.
What the character's based on is
Nice.
Oscar Wilde. It's Oscar Wilde, the Primarch.
Wow. What novel is this one?
Go back and look at a picture of Oscar Wilde. I guarantee you he's going to be wearing purple.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So which novels are the
Fulgrim.
ones? Fulgrim.
This
Okay.
book 5 from the Horus Heresy covers all of the Fulgrim shit. And a lot of that shit that I brought up took place later, but it's just when we went through Mortarion through the eyes of Nathaniel Garrow, I didn't learn shit.
Right.
Horus, I really didn't feel much I learned about Horus' psyche that well.
You never learned anything about him.
But except for like, he's charismatic, just like Fulgrim, only he's powerful and he's a master leader and tactician. Okay, great. And the whole first book was his actual shining moment where he's the opposite character arc than Jaime Lannister. The first book, the last sentence of the first book is, this is it. This is his peak moment of existence.
Right.
And now we have 56 books for you to see this motherfucker fall.
I mean, to be fair,
it only takes 3 books. I was like, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do we do for 53 more books? The dude's already fallen. Like, this was not much of a character arc. It's more like a character splat. So like Fulgrim is a much more dynamic character. And he's a shitbag, but he's a villain I can really sink my teeth into and understand. Mortarion I couldn't understand. Conrad Kurz is too one-dimensional. That fucking Rogel Dorn is, for someone who's supposed to be so good at controlling like sieges, he sure can't put a cap on his feelings. He's flying off the handle and punching people the second he doesn't hear what he wants to hear. All of these Primarchs seem to be emotional toddlers.
Right.
Correct.
Which told me the antediluvians. It's like, it's a 10,000-year-old vampire and it's got all the power in the world, except for the ability to control its fucking impulses.
Yes. These are all children with daddy issues. Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
That's how they're set
And
up. Yeah.
super powerful on top of that. So their
Dad
little
loves him
tantrums
more.
are.
He loves me less.
When you take an unstable person, give them power, you get a more unstable person that's now dangerous.
I mean, Fulgrim was crying to Ferris. He abandoned us, brother.
That's, by the way, another thing that I've gotten deep into is the whole Slaanesh thing, which I think is like, so far I've seen it like really woefully underused.
So Slaanesh would be a good bridge between your Eldar and my Fulgrim.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the sonic weaponry is the overlap between the Harlequins and the children of the Emperor's children.
Okay.
They like the Emperor's children will have like drummers and bass players, and guitar players too.
Noise Marines.
Metal Space Marines.
And Slaanesh is basically the Lord of all Cenobites, is what it feels like from what I've been reading.
It does come across as like a Shemisi Cenobite thing.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's the whole like pleasure, pain, excess. Like this starts as something really good, and then you take it to a level where it becomes
beyond obsession and
twisted and horrible and bad and.
Like the Shemisi had that level 7 Auspex power, pleasure pain, where their injuries counted as a wound bonus. And then it became a vicissitude 6 power. And then in 5th edition became a fortitude 5 power. But ultimately it's the same power.
Oh, so in human people words, I would call it painting till your fingers bleed and then using the blood to paint with. That's what
to keep going, to not stop. Yeah. To just keep going, keep trying to go.
There's a lot of that in the Fulgrim book.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of Shemisi / Toradance tribute tropes in the Fulgrim book.
Okay, and definitely
I'm
gonna
cut this person open and paint with their blood. It's like said every vampire painter the first month. Yes, it is like
said every poser.
Every Torador into tribute ever. I'm different. I paint in blood. It's like
really
every one of them.
Absolutely, more of the same when it comes to that, and that's the thing. Like,
the stereotypical, like, okay, I've got an idea. He's a Malkavian, but he's the serial killer and the cop. And it's like, okay, dude, yes, that is the trope. That is the plot line.
That is the archetype.
Goes to Hollywood with is the whole movie. You're trying to catch the killer, and it turns out at the end you're the killer. It's like,
oh no, how original! So true, though. So true.
I was so disappointed when I heard that. I was like, that's my idea, and it's a joke. People are laughing at me before I even knew that they knew I existed because I don't know I exist.
All right. So what other characters pop into your mind as far as interesting ones? The other one I was taking a look at was, oh my God, what's his name? It was Erebus. I kind of did the dive.
Erebus is
interesting.
Probably the single most interesting character.
He's interesting. Really interesting development arc so far.
He's the little finger of Warhammer 40K.
Yes, that's it. Exactly right. That power behind the Iago. He's Iago in Othello.
Little fuck face that just trays and screws over everyone.
Yeah, and he's so good at it too.
Well, I mean, he saves Angron's life by turning him into a demon.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of a Pyrrhic thing, right? It kind of is.
I loved it so much though, and I hate Mortarian's model so much.
The fact I haven't seen that. I'll go check it out later.
He looks like a fat green pumpkin with a gas mask, and it's like, what is this? It's like he's as gross looking as Nurgle. Like Mortarian could have been so fucking cool.
And they went with.
They don't even make a Conrad Kurz. There's just art.
It's Mortarian's a giant fuck all scythe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be. Oh, man, and like Corvus Corax after he turned into a demon. I want to see that. That would be a fucking sweet miniature. Is just show up in the middle of the fight and start killing people on both sides. Like, what are you doing? And it's just like, I'm just a dick.
It's chaos.
It's like, and it's chaos. Out. Like you show up, you eat some Quiznos, spill it all over their miniatures, spill a Pepsi on the floor, kill like half of their models, and then like you leave. Like, oh, my girlfriend's picking me up. And then you grab your model and run out to the parking lot and just jump in some car and drive away. It's just like, they do the biggest dick move. It's just show up and play Corvus Corax and just kill people on both sides random.
And this, so I just found out there's a tournament around the corner from me at the Warhammer local. So I'm going to go take some pictures and check that out.
Now, I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, but they were saying that the Detroit Open or whatever is at the Cobo Hall is like one of the largest Warhammer things. I don't know if that's real, but that apparently the Detroit, there's one of the larger ones. Like,
okay,
I don't know
when is that happening?
State has one, or if it's only like a few states. I find it strange that of all places, Detroit would be a Warhammer place, or
You
maybe
never
that's
know.
the best one in Michigan, and
Right.
there's plenty of good ones otherwise.
Well,
but
if you want a bombed out place, I mean, Detroit we used to be pretty baller.
I was asking about
Yeah.
league play. I was like, is it like D&D where if your miniature is slightly wrong, you can't use it? He's like, no, they're not like that with league play. If your miniature looks like a Night Lord, it's a Night Lord.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like even if you painted them red, you could
Yeah.
still say they're Night Lords and they'll still let you play in league play. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, sweet.
And
He's like,
they, they need to have that flexibility, because once you assemble those models, sometimes you assemble them a certain way, but you want to build a list that uses, say, a different weapon. It's not like you can take off the arms and unless you magnetize them. And who the hell's going to do that?
well,
There
that's
is no way in hell.
right.
That's
And that's the thing is whether they'd have the appropriate weapons or not on the miniature.
exactly. That's a little too
That's
fucking
really
much.
what matters, is whether they have the right weapons, not whether they have the right colors.
Yes.
Or you've got 3 feathers on your headdress and you need 11 feathers.
Yeah,
You're like, it's
still
shenanigans
this unit,
off space.
or
So,
it's
like,
still this character.
he uses an example, like one of the big league play things, like the Texas Open or the Detroit Open,
Mhm.
that would be the only place where they'd even question it, and I'm sure they wouldn't give you a hard time if you just used different color scheme for.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's too much time and money commitment in these figures. They're expensive, man.
Basically, a Chaos Marines or Chaos Marines, Loyalist Marines or Loyalist Marines.
Yeah, as long as you have the faction
don't
and the
have
unit correct, you're fine. Like
Yeah.
that's all that really matters.
So
You know?
that would be cool. I mean, first I want to just go and watch people play.
For sure.
Probably just go find out when there's a game at the store that's near me, and just go and watch people play and say, pretend I'm not even here. I'm just here to watch because I'm
here to learn.
play, but I don't want to waste anyone's time teaching me to play. I'm just going to watch, and then they'll but the thing is sometimes I look weird, like I don't fit in all communities, right? So like if I look like this and I'm just standing in the corner breathing heavy, then they think there's something wrong, not like I've got asthma,
Yeah. Well, don't worry about it. Like I've had this scenario because the our local game store brings literally all types, all types, from super conservative lawyer looking dudes to like the craziest, most subculture types, of all types. So furries and shit, like
interesting. All right.
yeah, it's open to everybody, which is kind of cool. I like that, like that they're like, doesn't matter as long as you're here to play. That's what matters. That you're that you have a real interest in the hobby and not to like fuck around. So yeah, we got a good scene here in Birmingham, which is surprising because it's not a large city.
Birmingham, Alabama is
Alabama's
a major city, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
How
a
many
big
million
city, but it's not huge.
I feel like it's 4 million or more.
4 million.
Metro area, I want to say 1.5 million if you include the metro area, maybe 2 million.
Okay, so it's a little bit smaller than current Detroit.
Yeah, definitely smaller than for sure.
Well, Detroit, like 30, 40 years ago, was number 4 in the country.
Right.
Now it's like not even in the top 20 because it's just
no, the automotive industry shifted, right?
Moved away and call it that.
Yeah. Let's just say that. I remember for me, I used to live in New York City. So moving here, Birmingham will always in my head be a little town.
Small town.
Yeah. I mean, it's just relative. Even San Juan, Puerto Rico, where I grew up, it's almost 3 million people, like, or 2.5 million in that tiny space. Most of the people of the island are like right there. So,
well, so what about you? You're the closest to Atlanta, right? Even though you're not, but like,
I'm 2.5 hours. I think we're both the same distance from Atlanta.
Yeah, about the same. 2.5.
Any city that you're close to?
Let's see. I'm close to Nashville. Is 2, maybe 3 hours.
I'm 2 hours from Atlanta, 3 hours from Chattanooga. I'd rather go south. Anything in Florida, everything in Florida. I go to any beach fucking town, really.
Yeah, I'm like 4 hours away from the north side of Florida, like the Panhandle side. So
yeah, like I think I'm like 6 to 8 to Tampa. The only thing that's too far is probably like Miami, but it's just Miami.
Yeah, Miami's far as fuck because Tampa, same thing. 8 hours, I'm there. But
So,
man, Miami's just way the fuck out.
Obviously, I'm in Detroit.
Yeah, you gotta fly places, though.
Grand Rapids is 1 million. I'm 2 hours from Grand Rapids. What do you call it? From Chicago, I'm 4 hours. Chicago's about 6-7 million.
Yeah, Chicago's
Toronto,
big
5
city.
hours.
Yep.
Pittsburgh, I'm 4 hours. Cleveland, I'm 3 hours. Buffalo, I'm 6 hours. What do you call it?
That's pretty
Cincinnati,
well located.
about
Yeah.
6 hours. Columbus, in like 4 hours.
That's not bad at all. That's not a bad location at all if you want to be near big cities. Oh, Northeast and all that, and I guess is Detroit considered Midwest? Is it considered Midwest? Okay,
it's an East Coast city, but it's in the Midwest.
in the Midwest.
Chicago,
Yeah, like
East Coast city, but it's in the Midwest.
100%.
Whereas if you go south to Indianapolis, or I would call that a Midwest city. That's definitely not East Coast mindset.
That's Midwest.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. So what's next on the agenda? What are you guys gonna do? Warhammer 40K ish. Then, so you're going to learn to play the game itself, Todd. Do you want to give it a whirl?
Yeah, when the book comes out in June, I'll buy
because it's now
and learn that. I don't want to contaminate my brain with old rule sets. It's gonna be hard enough to learn one rule set. So
that
I'm
makes
learn
sense.
the standardized league play rule set, even if it sucks. And then once I know the modern rule set, then I can always learn other people's house rules that are based on old rule sets.
For sure. And they did say, thankfully, that the codexes are a 10th edition are still going to be valid. So that's why I went ahead and got the Eldar one. And I might grab one of the ones for
codexes are the side books to the various editions. So you have a codex for whatever clan.
Yeah, like
those are going to work for the various people.
So you're saying you go out and buy the 10th edition codex and it'll apply to 11th edition.
Correct. Right. They've already announced that. They're not going to make them
every edition.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to make people like rebuy a bunch of shit. Thank God. You know, like they're not. That would be a super dick move.
What was the worst is what Vampire used to do is every time they came with a new edition, with the exception of 3rd and 4th, they'd spread out all the core clans in different books. Like in 5th edition, you had to buy a whole book, the Anarch book, to get the Setites. You had to buy a whole book, Chicago, to get the Lasombra. You had to buy a whole book, the Camarilla, to get the Assamites. Like, why the fuck do I buy the Cam book to get the Assamites, or the Anarch book to get the Setites?
Yeah.
Or the Chicago book to buy the Lasombra? The Lasombra aren't in Chicago. The Setites aren't in the Anarchs. And the Assamites aren't in the Camarilla. But to sell the books, they changed the meta plot to sell books. Yeah. And it's like, ugh.
Well, I mean, Games Workshop kind of does that a little bit, like the whole Inari thing. You know, that was we're going to redo Eldar, so we're going to throw this plot line out there, you know? And now all of a sudden people are interested in that.
Well, is it a new bloodline that's added to, or is it something that was retconned in as it was there the whole time?
I think it was added to.
Okay. So
I think it was added to.
Is like they wanted to include the Ashira in the Camarilla so that it wasn't ethnically divided out of game. Like, they use their woke minds and they're like, how can we make this more accessible for modern audiences? In other words, woke people who don't play the fucking game. And it's like, let's just change everything that's happening in the entire world so that it's more woke. And then the vampires, even though they've been around for thousands of years, they're totally progressive. And they're going to just start doing things like 1,000-year-old vampire is going to start playing with this group of vampires now because it's now popular. It's Gays for Palestine. You know, it's like, so the Ashira are going to leave Tehran and go to Paris to have soirees with the Camarilla. And it's like, none of this makes any sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, like these are vampires that are part of a theocracy, that believe that they're descended from heaven's will. And then you've got these vampires that are just vapid, blood-drinking monsters. They're not going to just join forces and become the same group. They might have a truce, but to be the same group, just so that you can then include the Assamites into the West in a remember how like the way you saw the Assamites was that the Assamites are assassins. And
basically.
Because they were based off the Hashashin. But the cultural backlash of that was they had to then make different subclasses of the Assamites that you just didn't know about. Because they were in the Middle East in the Ashira. And in the Ashira, they're not assassins. They're dilettantes. and there's sorcerers and stuff. So now we bring that over. So now they're taking the place of the Tremere and the Camarilla.
Yeah, basically. Well, this is all what happens when you stop writing for the story and the entertainment, and you start writing for a message, and or
Right.
or an agenda, which makes it not
Fucking
entertaining.
shit fest. But in the end, it's not the worst thing.
No.
It's like what they did is they kind of broke everything up so that there really is no Sabbat. There's just nomadic packs, and then there's the Black Hand, and then there's, because the Assamites were so similar to the Black Hand, the assassin Assamites are now part of the Black Hand, and all the other Assamites that are non-violent are in the Camarilla. And then the Setites are not longer into Set; they're just any religious person. Although there is
so Setites are not into Set now? Wait,
no,
what?
but they're called the Ministry, and they believe in any religion.
Okay.
But there is a cult of Set, and the cult of Set takes all members, not just people descended from Set.
Right.
So they try to make it less cultural, but then they just made it stupid because you've got a clan, people literally descended from Set, that you think is inappropriate to make them religiously devoted to Set. So you're now making them open-minded. And then you've got a group of cultists who worship Set, but now they're not making it be from his bloodline. Anybody can join. It's just a mess.
Which doesn't make sense.
Here's the part that's the best. In the end, no one really liked it. So now most of the people in the cult are actually descended from Set.
Go figure. So hey, is there gonna be a 6th edition?
But that's my point, is they made them anarchs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like
basically,
how are they? And then the Gangrel and the Bruja are now anarchs. Right? So it's the Gangrel, the Setites, and the Bruja are the anarchs. The Lasombra join the Cam, the Assamites join the Cam. And then the Shemisi and the Salubri are just autarchs at this point.
Yeah.
And you're asking if there's going to be a 6th edition. Probably there will be, because they haven't had a edition in 8 years.
Okay. Who owns the property still? Like now,
I don't know. They've sold. They
sold it a bunch of times, right?
So many times. I don't know who owns it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a game that has always had this very rich potential for storytelling of all kinds at every level, and just 5th edition just destroyed it, like for no reason. I don't know.
I think if nothing else, the video games were going to make so much money. They didn't want it falling back on the role-playing game and making them look bad. For example, there's a huge controversy because people said that the Bruja were neo-Nazis, which isn't true.
It's not at all.
They're leftists, and they gave an example of, they give 12 to 15 different examples of leftist groups.
Right.
One of which was neo-Nazis. So people are like, the Vampire the Masquerade endorses Nazism, is what the headline was. And it's just like, these people are fucking awful. So that's why they have to make the game like this, because they're constantly under attack. Like the Ravnos is shitty on gypsies, and the Assamites make Middle Eastern people all out to be terrorists. And like all these people were complaining. It's like, if you don't like the game, don't play the game. Leave the fucking game.
I don't know if you remember, because you're younger than me, but when AD&D first started getting popular, it was a whole like, oh, it's for devil worshipping kids. And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, that's how I found out about it.
Yeah.
I had Saturday morning cartoons that were Dungeons & Dragons cartoon.
Yeah, I remember that cartoon.
There was also a movie with Tom Hanks where he gets high on acid and stabs someone to death because he thinks he's a Minotaur at Michigan State. And I was like, this is totally different than my cartoon. This is way more fun. So I just take drugs and stab people to death? That's horrible. Like, it'd be better if you could play this game and not stab people. But like taking acid, playing D&D and killing people is not optimal.
Yeah, no, that is definitely not like, that's not how I want my Saturday night to go. That's for sure.
When it happens 40 minutes from your house.
Yeah.
And
that shit went down.
It's a much bigger deal here than anywhere else.
Because you had the missing kids and all that shit. Was that around?
That was right here.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. I actually read about it in a magazine.
Attack, there was a terrorist attack like a quarter mile from my house.
The fuck?
Someone drove a truck through a synagogue and started shooting at people with an AK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like, and it's funny because like you see this stuff on the news and it doesn't really affect you because you're from Detroit. That's just normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's not normal that it's in a synagogue.
Yeah, we just call this a Tuesday.
For like, yeah, so that's just
For
normal.
Detroit, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's like, do you remember Baron Underbite from Venture Brothers?
Yeah, of
He was
course.
like the
Yeah.
Doctor Doom knockoff
Yeah.
on Venture Brothers, and they put him in Detroit.
I
Like
never saw that.
yeah, Barovia or whatever was basically just in.
Just Detroit, just outside Detroit.
It's just there's just clouds and darkness and lightning all the time in his castle. Baron Underbite.
By the way, speaking of Doctor Doom, did you see? I did not know this until recently. Apparently, the new Marvel whatever movie, the Secret Wars,
Doomsday.
is it the new one?
Yeah,
The
Doomsday.
budget has hit $1 billion
Already?
Easily.
Oh my.
1 billion without marketing it.
Well, that means he's got at least 2 billion.
Easily.
So, well, Robert Downey Jr. alone was 100 million apparently. One guy.
Yeah, well,
One guy is 100
it was
million. I've
either
never heard
90
of
or
that.
180 for the
I've
brothers.
never heard of that for one movie. 100 million.
Easily.
100 million.
Easily. He's worth more than that.
Yeah, I mean, they are.
What's
This is like
wild
the
about-
ultimate Hail Mary that
Yeah.
Marvel is doing.
Yeah, what's wild is
Marvel
he's
is
the biggest
counting
star.
that everyone's gonna forget everything after
As
Endgame
long as there's
until
not
now.
a single woman writing for them, and there's not a single female producer, they need to double down on just what do guys want in an action movie, and fill it with their favorite superheroes.
Let's
And
see if
don't
they
give
do
a
that.
fuck about what a single woman thinks, because they're gonna go with you to see the movie because you're the one buying the fucking ticket.
They just want the date. They're not into the
Yeah,
movie. They just want the
They
date.
don't know what the fuck they're watching. They don't know what anyone's name is. Like, when's Batman show up? Like, they just
I
shut the
mean,
fuck up. Eat your bottle. Yeah, like, you don't get to
ideally,
write this plot.
there's going to be athletic people in a superhero movie, but it might be just families. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh, and did you see the Supergirl stuff that's coming out? That's gonna be another
Everything's going to be
unmitigated
shit.
disaster.
It's all
It's
going to be
gonna
terrible.
It's bad, man.
I don't know. Matt Reeves' Batman 2 might be good.
What is
That might be good.
20 years from now?
Yeah. So here's my prediction. What's gonna happen is that we're so burnt out on bad quality superhero bullshit that for the next 10 or 20 years, DC is gonna go back to the staple of Superman movies and Batman movies. Because they know Marvel's gonna go back to Spidey movies, and that's gonna be that for the next few years, especially if this new Marvel movie bombs.
Well, the whole point of Doomsday is to destroy everything and reboot it in Secret Wars, and they're just going to have crap that people want to see in Secret Wars.
But are they gonna do it right? Because they have to bring back the characters that people love.
As far as I know, they're going to kill Tobey Maguire in the first 4 minutes of Doomsday. So I don't think so, no.
See, and that's the thing. Like, you have to, if you're going to expand it to make a new generation of people. Remember, Iron Man came out in 2008, so it's been almost 20 years.
Right.
Okay, this is an entire generation that has not fallen in love with these characters because it's not their movies. They're the movies they watched on TV on
Yes.
Disney.
They have not made a good movie since
Endgame. Since
Infinity
Endgame.
War.
Well, there's some exceptions. Like, they made good movies, but they haven't made their quality.
I would say
level.
watchable, but not
Yeah.
good.
They're entertaining movies, but they're not at the caliber of the Marvel franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with look at have you heard anybody that ever tell you that they're excited about the new Mandalorian Grogu movie? Do you know a single person? Not one of my Star Wars fan friends, not one that I used to play X-Wing with, that are hardcore Star Wars fans.
Because
Not
the
one.
show focuses too much on Grogu and not enough on fucking Mandalorian.
Yep.
It's like he's the cute sidekick that makes women sit through it, but he's not the fucking point of the show.
Yeah, he's not the
Wow.
even.
He's the,
Well,
it's like girls and kids like Grogu. That's great, and it is a Disney Channel. I get it, but in the end, what's going to carry this shit? The dude who pays the bills.
yeah. Well, you need to have, for Grogu to work, you need the lone wolf and cub formula, the father and son thing. That's the formula that will make money, and they are not doing that.
But
They're just not
Isn't
doing that.
Grogu more powerful than the Mandalorian? I mean, dude's got some
I
serious
mean,
force powers.
in potential, yeah. I mean, he's still like a baby, but yeah, definitely. Like, he's super.
again, the show would have been great without Grogu.
Yeah.
It's just that's what the girls liked, so that's what they cooed and made noises about. So people misperceive that as being the big element of the show. Though what made the show great is it's a Western, a Star Wars Western.
It's a Star Wars
It had
Western.
good writing. It
Yep.
had the appropriate music. It had good acting. And then it had also a cute sidekick.
Yeah.
Like one of the 4
That was a
elements.
bonus. That was not the point. That was the
And
bonus.
without it, the show may not have worked, but it
Mhm.
isn't what makes the show.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you want Grogu to have a significant part of the show, you got to give us a reason. And the reason would be the father-son relationship. If
Right.
I watched the
and make
first
that the
season. That was
focus.
it. So I don't really know too much.
Hmm?
I only watched the first season of that show. I thought
Oh,
The
then
second's okay. Second's
first
okay.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Then
shit.
show's plot started falling apart because there was little reason for him and Grogu to be together anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it fell apart the first season.
Yeah. The
So
second
trying to attach
season.
up to Grogu, the show is going to eventually disintegrate. If now that it got off the show because of the ground because of Grogu, you keep the focus on the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and then you make his relationship with the kid relevant, but it can't be insane. You can't have just an adult man who just doesn't give a fuck about himself anymore and is now just obsessed with his alien that's kind of an adopted child to where he's
Right.
going to commit suicidal behavior.
Yeah.
I could see him fighting to not be separated, but a lot of
Yeah.
shit he was doing and was just bizarre.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
or
sure
to
it was, yeah.
or fighting to protect him, find him. When the plot was, I am going to protect him until I find his people. That was perfect. That
Right.
was perfect. It gave him a mission. It gave him a clear endpoint and all that. But
And
now
once you
it's
find out he has no people,
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, I'll be his people. I'm going to adopt him. So now
Oh,
you're
the
his
Goblin
dad.
in whatever swamp. Wait, what?
And that's
Yeah.
plausible plot.
Yeah.
But that's it. You don't have to add a female lead. You
No.
don't turn it into a family. You
No.
don't add an additional anything. You just have this father-son combination. Kind of like the only thing that really kept Supernatural going
Yeah.
was that it stayed true to the concept that you had 2 brothers who were following in their dad's footsteps, and
Yeah.
a way of missing him was becoming closer together. In the absence of their dad, they had each other,
Right.
and then that developed that brother relationship.
See,
into an
and that's
important relationship
relatable,
in
understandable.
history of film. The other characters, whether it's Crowley or Castiel, they were almost comic relief
Yeah.
sidekicks that spun around our 2 main characters, Sam and Dean, but they were equal and opposite, perfect harmony, right?
Well, and they worked to give us more contrast on the protagonist, right? To give us more something to a foil to play with, you know,
Right,
to
and
play against.
same thing, that Grogu is cute and the Mandalorians gruff and dour, and so they are extreme opposites of each other, but they work.
But they work
And then you
together.
have other characters come and go, half a season here, half a season there, like
Yep.
Bo-Katan, etc., or Luke. But you don't have Bo-Katan and Grogu go off and do something else together.
Right.
And
No,
then
that's
there's
just
no
weird.
reason for him to ever meet back up with Grogu.
Yeah.
As an adult man, people come in and out of your life and you miss them, but they're gone. Like you don't just, I'm going to fly across the galaxy to go see what this 4-year-old's doing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
isn't mine.
Yeah, that's just weird. That's just very bizarre.
You just think about them and maybe you call them and then you feel silly when they don't answer. Like that's like what would really happen.
Yeah, it would be awkward. It would be completely awkward,
Like,
as it should
call
be.
me, talk to so-and-so. You mean the 4-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
It's like, what kind of conversation you going to have with him? He's like, I don't know. I just miss him. It's like, you're an adult man. What are you missing a 4-year-old for? You're weird. Click, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like, you would never let him out of your sight in the first place because getting him back in your life is going to be almost impossible.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as you're the guardian and you've got a gun in your hand, then people are not going to try to get between you.
Good point. All right, guys, I got to call it. Super fun as always talking with you guys. We'll do it again next week and get into some more fucking rants and craziness.
I didn't even know.
So,
Did we rant today? I don't know if I didn't know it.
I mean, I'd say rant, deep thoughts, whatever it is that pops into our heads that's nerdy, we'll have it here.
Try to
So-
minimize my ranting. So
You did great, though.
notify me if I start ranting.
Will do. I will
Okay.
do a rant, what is it? Intercession.
It's like an air horn.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh,
Sounds good to me. All
right.
right, guys. Thank you, everyone. Comment, ask us questions. We'll do the thing. All right. Have a great night, everybody.
See you later, buddy.